At the beginning of the movie, Roy wakes up to the same day over and over again, and right away, a trained killer attacks him in his apartment. This starting scene sets the mood for the whole movie by showing how good Roy is at fighting and how determined his pursuers are to catch him. Even though Roy tries very hard, he is dead and wakes up at the start of the same day. It's not clear how many times this horrible loop has happened, but every day brings new problems, and people trying to kill Roy will learn more about Roy's past as he moves through the repeated days. Roy used to be a very skilled Delta Force agent, but things went badly for him after he and his wife, Gemma Wells, Naomi Watts, broke up. In a top-secret lab, Gemma, a very smart scientist, has been working on a project called the Osiris Spindle. Unfortunately for Roy, Gemma's project can change the past and present, which is what put him in this situation. Colonel Clive Venter, Mel Gibson, a former soldier who now runs the Osiris Spindle project, is in charge of the bad guys in the movie. Venter is a cruel and resourceful person who will do anything to make his plans come true. As Roy looks into the case more, he learns that Gemma set off the time loop by activating the Osiris Spindle because she knew she was in danger and wanted to keep Roy safe. She tried to call him every day, but the loop started over before she could fully explain what was going on. Roy meets a lot of different killers along the way, and each one has their own skills and ways of doing things. There is Guan Yin, Selena Lowe, who loves killing Roy over and over, and Kaboom, Aaron Bielner, who is so good at shooting that his pride is the only thing that matches it. Roy keeps running into these killers, which leads to many creative and brutal fight scenes that show off the movie's action routines. Roy starts to make good use of the time loop despite all the chaos. He carefully studies the habits and patterns of his killers, improving his skills and coming up with new ways to stay alive longer every day. A little at a time, he slowly figures out how the Osiris Spindle is connected to Venter by making mistakes. Roy is determined because he wants to protect his teenage son Joe, Rio Grillo, who he hasn't talked to in a while. The time loop gives Roy a chance to get back in touch with Joe, repairing a relationship that had been damaged by Roy's troubled life. Roy's training with Daifeng, Michelle Yeoh, a martial arts master who helps him get better at fighting, is one of the best parts of the movie. This montage not only shows a big change in Roy's physical skills, but it also shows how much he has learned about how important it is to be patient and persistent. Roy's quest to break the loop is helped a great deal by Daifeng's lessons. Roy faces Venter and his goons more than once because each time he does so, he learns more about the time loop and gets closer to finding the truth. Venter really wants to be in charge and have all the power. He thinks that the Osiris Spindle can help him do that by changing time and reality itself. The fact that Roy keeps dying shows how important the project is to Venter and how far he will go to protect it. At the end of the movie, Roy makes big steps toward turning off the Osiris Spindle. Roy comes up with a plan to break into the high-security lab and face Venter for good, using the knowledge and skills he has gained from doing things over and over again. The action is very intense in this scene, with Roy outsmarting and beating the killers who have been after him the whole movie. His meetings with Guan Yin, Kaboom, and the other killers come to an exciting end that shows how much he has changed and how determined he is. Venter has Gemma locked up, and Roy finally gets to her at a very sad moment. When they get back together, it's sad because Gemma tells them how powerful the Osiris Spindle really is and what will happen if they abuse it. She begs Roy to stop the project at all costs, even if it means giving up his own life. The movie is about love, redemption, and how far someone will go to protect their family. This emotional conversation shows these ideas. The end fight between Roy and Venter shows how strong Roy is and how he has found his new purpose in life. Roy is able to beat Venter and his forces by using the skills and information he has gained from doing things over and over again. Roy turns off the Osiris Spindle at the end of the time loop story, breaking free from the circle of death and repetition. When the movie ends, Roy wakes up to a new day, free from the time loop. Roy takes advantage of the chance for a fresh start at the end of the movie, which is both enjoyable and thought-provoking. After getting back in touch with Joe, he feels hopeful and determined about the future. Roy has changed after going through the time loop. It taught him the value of patience, love, and the chance to be forgiven. To sum up, this movie is an exciting and action-packed movie that mixes science fiction, dark humor, and intense fight scenes very well. Frank Grillo gives an amazing performance as Roy Pulver, a man who is stuck in a never-ending time loop and has to fight killers and find out about a dark plot. The movie is one of the best in the time loop genre because it explores time manipulation and has exciting action scenes and a touching story. In the end, this movie is a story about how people can grow as people, how powerful love can be, and how the human spirit can survive against all odds.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like, share and subscribe button to my channel to see more videos like this.